Thank you, everybody, for attending. We're going to go ahead and just jump in. And as Ashley said, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I'll come back to those at the end after we do a little demo. So we'll do a little PowerPoint, just kind of give you a lay of the land, and then we'll jump into a demo. So a little bit of history, a little bit of baseline as far as Takeoff and how it got started. So as we all know, estimating departments are facing a number of obstacles. Traditionally, 2D and 3D takeoffs happen in separate applications, and then that data is brought together manually. The result can be a disjointed and cumbersome process that takes a lot of time and effort. So Autodesk kicked off a project internally a few years ago and started out by talking to estimators across the country and even around the world. And as these, as you can see these items here, these are ones that kind of floated to the top time and time again as things that would help organizations overcome some of these challenges. Autodesk Takeoff breaks down those data silos between estimators, improving our collaboration. So estimators can access drawings and model-based quantification workflows on a central platform and quickly identify the latest version. By unifying the 2D and 3D takeoff workflow into a centralized platform, the potential for duplication is reduced, creating a more seamless experience during estimating reviews. The Autodesk Construction Cloud connects data, workflows, and teams throughout the entire building lifecycle. You can see that Autodesk Takeoff is a part of the overall Autodesk Construction Cloud. And this is the piece we're going to focus on today, the Autodesk Takeoff. Autodesk Takeoff includes Autodesk Docs, which is your common data environment or a file management module that runs across all Autodesk construction products. Also in Takeoff is the Insight module, which provides a project-like dashboard environment for project members. We won't have time to get into that today, but it's available with Takeoff as well. The Autodesk Takeoff supports teams, projects, and businesses in that interconnected way. Then Takeoff provides every team member with those specific tool set to do their job. All project documents are managed in one place to ensure everyone in the team is working on the latest set of data. For those that might be new to the Autodesk Cloud environment, you can easily navigate to other modules within the project by selecting the Product Selector drop-down in that upper left-hand corner. We can toggle between the products that we have available to us. And that will be determined based on what you have a subscription to. So if you only have Takeoff, then you would just see Docs and Takeoff. Where someone who might be working in Revit and collaborating, they might see Design Collaboration or Model Coordination. So it will vary depending on what subscriptions you have. Each project has its own measurement and classification system assigned. Along with the primary classification system, there's an option for an additional secondary classification system as well. You can upload a classification system of your choice, or you can use the standard system that's provided. To streamline this setup, you can create a Takeoff template with predefined custom classification system settings and predefined packages. Each project has a list of project members, and those project members that will be tasked with running Takeoff can be added as a member to the Takeoff module. So this provides controlled access to just the project members who need to use the Takeoff tools. In the Files tool, we can view project files in the Common Data environment. This is the same folder structure that can be viewed under the Docs module. By selecting a PDF file, an IFC, or Revit model that's stored in the Files folder, we can publish them directly to the Sheets and Models area. The Sheets and Models area contains the files we'll use to perform our takeoff. When uploading a PDF document into the Sheets and Models area, the OCR technology automatically extracts a sheet name, sheet number, and applies sheet tags. Tracking multiple iterations of documents can be time-consuming. With the document compare and version control features built in to the files area, estimators can quickly compare one version with the next. Estimators can subscribe to relevant folders to receive notifications as to when new documents are available. Packages are used to organize the takeoffs. So packages are very flexible in how they are organized, from something as simple as by a user, a specific scope of work, or trade. When multiple estimators collaborate on a project, they can use takeoff packages to organize their work based on their areas of expertise and easily share their work with other team members on the same project. Takeoff can bring the entire estimating team into the cloud and break down data silos, allowing multiple estimators to perform takeoffs and collaborate on the same project. So leveraging the 2D takeoffs with PDF files, you can easily capture project scope with linear, count, and area takeoff tools. Multiple quantities can be generated from any takeoff type. Additional tools make it easy to move, copy, and rotate takeoffs and hide those that might be in your way for the next takeoff type. If you make a mistake assigning a takeoff type, simply reassign the takeoff type. There's no need to delete it and start again. Quickly generate quantities from the BIM models with the 3D takeoff tool, which can improve your efficiency, accuracy, and definitely your productivity. Benefit from being able to visualize the design intent and understand the project scope in 3D to generate a more accurate takeoff. You can sort and categorize takeoffs based on the model properties. The ability to group elements together by model properties, you can visualize elements that have been assigned to takeoff and those that remain unquantified. Excuse me. One second. All right. When viewing a sheet or a model that has multiple versions in the takeoff viewer, the most recent version is always shown. When you receive a new version of a sheet or model, you'll be prompted to choose what to do with the existing takeoff items. Estimators can easily move takeoffs to the latest version of the sheet or model by selecting Move Takeoff, which can be a significant time savings. If preferred, the restart on this version can be selected, and the takeoff can be restarted on the latest version. With the Autodesk Takeoff unified workflow, the 2D and 3D output becomes a comprehensive inventory that teams can quickly understand. Takeoff types can be used across 2D and 3D takeoff, allowing teams to access aggregated quantities in an organized and customizable view, and allowing for easy export to Excel, because we all are still using Excel. All right, so let's take a live look at Takeoff. If you have any questions so far, feel free to enter them into the chat, and we'll follow up with those in just a couple minutes. Let me bring up our demo here. Oops, 1 second here. Do that again. All right. So what we see here is our Autodesk docs. And as I mentioned before, that is where our project gets started. This is our common data environment. The project admin will create our folder structure. and give permissions to individuals within the project as to which folders they can access. Our module selector is up here, and you can see here we have Takeoff. Before I jump in here, let's take a look at what we have in the Docs file folder. Each one of the teams that's working on this project so far have their own folder. And when they're ready to provide that for other team members to link in or create takeoffs from, they're placing it in the shared folder. So that's where we're going to be working. And if I look in here in the shared folder, I have some files under the architecture folder that are DWGs and PDFs. And under structure, I have a Revit model. Now, if I pop over here to my Takeoff module, you'll see I have a files folder here as well. And if I click on that, we can see the same hierarchy that we saw over under Docs. So we can see the same list of folders and files here as we would over in Docs. So you don't have to jump back and forth. If you're solely taking care of Takeoff and you don't need to worry about others modules, you can stay in here. Now, after that, once we see our files, we need to get them into our sheets and modules. Our sheets and models, excuse me. So to do that, we want to go into our shared folder, and we want to select the file or files that we want to publish to our sheets and models. So to do that, I've already done this, but I'll show you. Select them, and you'll see Publish to Takeoff Sheets and Models shows up. Similarly, if we are in our structure and we pick on this, we can publish it to our sheets and models. Now, I've already done that. So if I go to my sheets and models, you'll see here for my 2D, I've uploaded the 2 PDFs. And for my 3D, I have my structural model. So for today, we'll be doing our 2D takeoffs on these architectural files and our 3D takeoff on our structural files. So now that we've pulled the files that have been shared with us into Takeoff, into our sheets and models, we need to make sure we have some packages so that we can organize our Takeoff. So here under Packages, I have a couple set up. I have an architectural and structural. Now you can organize these however you want. I've basically set these up by the different disciplines. So I've got a package to do on my architectural takeoffs, and I've got one for my structural. If you want to set this up by scope of work, by individual that's doing takeoff, just create a new package and you can organize these however you want. The package is just a name, so it's very simple. All right, so let's take a look at the architectural package. If I click on this, I come in, it's like, okay, there's my package. You can see I have my structural there as well, and we'll pop into that a little bit later. It wants to know what document do I want to do a takeoff on. So I either can select it here, or I can do my little drop down, and I can choose it from here. So let's go ahead and we'll pick our A101 for right now. So you can see I've got a few takeoffs I've already started on this particular sheet. And now I want to get to my takeoff. So where'd my takeoff go? Over here, below our packages is our takeoff type. I'm going to click on that. And you'll see I've got a few set up here already. So the first thing I want to do is talk about just how do you add items to a takeoff? And then we'll go a little bit deeper on how you create these takeoff types. So if we come in here and take a closer look, you'll see I've got a couple of doors here that have half lights in them. And if I look down here, I've got a couple more, but they're not yet accounted for. So I want to find out which takeoff this one is so that I can use it here as well. So if I select on this takeoff and right click, I can find that takeoff type. So by clicking on that, I can locate what that takeoff type is. It's blue, it's ready to go, and I can select the elements that I want to add to that takeoff type. So right now I have 2. I go ahead and pick on this and go on down. You'll see it starts to add up my count here, and I can add those in. Once I'm done, I can go ahead and click on that and end that takeoff type. You want to make sure you click on it to end it. Otherwise, the next thing you pick is going to be added to that set. As I mentioned before, if you accidentally add it to the wrong set, you can reassign it to the correct set. You don't have to delete it out. All right, so that's how we can assign them to an existing package. Let's take a look at some of the ways we can to assign them to an existing takeoff. Let's take a look at how we can create new takeoffs. So let's first take a look over here at these windows. We've got some windows along here. Now we have two ways we can do this. We can create a takeoff, fill all the information in, and then start adding content, or we can do what we call a quick takeoff. And that basically creates a generic takeoff and counts the elements we're selecting. And then we can go back and modify the properties of what that takeoff is. So we're going to do a quick takeoff first. So down here, I've got an area, I've got a linear, and I've got a count takeoff. We also have a symbol detection, and we'll do that one here in a minute. I'm going to say count, and I'm just going to place a couple of takeoff buttons here, and you'll notice here it says count takeoff 1. So it's not very descriptive, it's just giving me a count takeoff 1, but I can go in and edit that. So if I click on this, I can come in and edit the name, and I happen to know that this is a 48-inch by 48-inch window. And if I want to change the shape, I can change the shape. Maybe I want my windows to be a square shape. That green kind of gets lost with the background there, so maybe we'll make that a little bit different. Let's do orange, okay? And then you can change the border as well if you want it to be a different color. Now, right now, you'll see that it says unassigned, but it's counting them. So I'm going to go ahead and save this for a second. And you'll see now it's got a name, but if I scroll up, it's unassigned. So it's not organized under my classification system. So if I come back in here again, I can assign this an output name, a classification, and we've already got our unit of measurement defined. So this is not required, but if I wanted to be able to further sort this window on what type of window it is, or other criteria, I could put in a name. So I know this is more of a storefront type window, so let's go ahead and put that in. And then for my classification, I'm going to keep this simple and just group it under openings. If you want to have your classification be more deeper, you can do that. I'll go ahead and close that. Save that again. And so now you'll see that under openings, my windows are classified. And if I click on that, there's a subset for storefront. Let's take a look here. Let's leave that active here. And let's come down here and let's use our symbol detection. I'm going to use my symbol detection. I'm going to zoom in and put a window around this area. And it's going to go through and take a look at all the symbols that it finds in this PDF to look close to this. Now, it doesn't recognize text, so you want to make sure that you either have that turned off or you select as tight as you can around the symbol. So you'll see it found 3 already, or found 3 that I haven't already assigned a takeoff, and it sees here that I have 3 that are already assigned. If I want to see which one is which, I can click on these. I want to see which ones were already detected, I can see those as well. So if I feel good about my selections, or its automatic selections, I can say save, and it adds, oops, I guess I didn't have that on. I meant to have that on, so it created a new one. I really want those assigned to this one. So I can just select these 3, right click, and I want to reassign my takeoff, and in here I can change those to my windows. So no need to go in there and remove those or delete those. So I've got those 6 now. This guy here I don't need anymore, so I'll just go ahead and delete him out. All right, let's take a look at creating a new takeoff. So let's pop over to our second floor. And you'll see here I've got my same 2D takeoffs because I'm in my same package. These are all the takeoffs for my package. And I can run that automatic search here again if I wanted to tag the windows in the back. But let's go ahead and create a new one. So I want to create a new tag. I want to pre-populate the information before we start the takeoff. So in this case, I'll use the create takeoff type. And I want this to be an area tag. We're going to use it for these doctor's offices. So I'm going to say doctor's office, and I want it to be an area tag. I can choose the color and border that I want. Now again, notice this little asterisk here. We have to tell it the unit type or the measurement type. If I try to do a takeoff at this point, I'm going to get a caution. So in here, I just need to make sure at the very minimum that I put in here what I want to take off. So I'm going to use count, even though you might want the area, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. And let's do a classification. Let's do finishes, and let's say we want flooring. I'm going to leave this blank for the moment. Let's say start takeoff. Okay, so you'll see down here, doctor's office is blue, and it's ready for me to do a takeoff. So if I come in here and pick a point here, it'll snap around. You might need to zoom in a little bit so you can see exactly what you're snapping to. And I can get up to this third point and just double click. Now my takeoff is still active, so I can go ahead and do another one. Let's come over to this room, it's a little different size, and do the same thing again. Don't probably have to be quite that close, and double click to finish that one. All right, so this is still active. I'm going to go ahead and hit this little blue bar here to finish that takeoff. So you'll see, even though it's showing me the square footage here, I chose count. If I click on this, it's also showing me the count. So because it's an area, it's going to give you the square footage, but also by selecting the count as your unit of measurement, it's giving you that as well. Now, if I click on my exam room, notice it says VCT. If I wanted to do something like that as well, then I could come back in here and edit this. And for my output name, if I wanted to also be able to sort by the flooring type, I can add that in. And now you'll see that both of these are set up with a flooring type. Now, if I wanted to, let's see, we've got here, these doctor's offices are all the same size. Instead of drawing each one of those each time, I can just right click and I can tell it, oh, sorry, not right click, rotate, mirror, right click. If you want to copy this, just select it and use your Control C, Control V. So maybe we'll do 3 of those, and then we can drag them over. They're already defined as far as what takeoff they are associated with. And so you can quickly get that in there. And now you'll see we have 5 of them in our total square feet. Now, if you have a project that you've already done, and you want to pull takeoffs from there, you don't have to recreate them. You can load them or import them from another project. And you can select which takeoffs you want to pull in. There's also some filtering options here. So we can choose if we want to see all levels, to certain levels, if we want to see 2D and 3D takeoffs here. And then we also have, if we want to filter out what classifications we're working with. So maybe you're just working with openings right now, then we could, choose just our finishes or just our openings. You can also, if you want to, hide an area. So here for openings, if I wanted to hide openings, I could hide those. I can roll those up. Actually, we can't see anything there. Let's pop back over here to our 101. And so here, if I wanted to hide all my openings, now all I'm going to see is my flooring. If you want to hide just a subset, you can do that as well. So we can hide, we can edit, and there's a few other tools here off to the right that you can access as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our 3D takeoff. So we need to switch packages because my structural model is in my structural package. So I'm going to change my package. And you'll see it still has my A101 up, so there's no takeoffs in 2D for my structural package. So I'm going to swap this over to my structural package. And here's my 3D takeoff type. Again, we've got a few started. Some are not yet assigned, some are assigned. So we have similar tools in 3D, but we have a few more. The key with working with a 3D is that we already have information embedded in these model elements, and we can use these to streamline our takeoff. So down here on the bottom, we have some of these tools in the 2D as well. We've got our selection. Here we've got an orbit since we're in 3D. We've got pan and zoom, fit to view. And then we also have a measurement tool, so we can do a quick measurement if we want to. Now, of course, in the 2D, we just have a 2D measurement, but we can also do a measurement here in 3D. If you want to be first person and walk around, you can do that. If you want to section the model to get a better look, we can as well. And then our form clusters, I'm going to come back to that one. That's a nice tool. But to get going, it's helpful to have your model browser maybe up, your properties, and maybe even your levels. So if you're working in an area that's quite busy and you're going to be focused on the roof, you could isolate just the roof members by selecting on that. If you are wanting to look maybe at the second floor top of steel, we could do that. So you can pick and choose. Just by selecting it again, it will release the isolation of that layer. If we select a member, here, you'll see that it identifies which member I've selected, and I can scroll up and see what type of member that is and what family it's a member of. So I can quickly start to see what some information and how I might want to create that takeoff. Over here, we can see the properties of that takeoff. So if we scroll down here a little bit, we can also see our, where to go? Oh, I have 3 things selected. Hang on, that's why. Let's just grab the one. All right, so here it's OmniClass as beam. So if I wanted to further classify this as a beam, I could do that. If I scroll up, I can see the type name. Okay, so much like we see here. But I can also, scroll down and look at other properties that I might want to leverage in that takeoff. So again, we could create a takeoff in the beginning, or we can leverage the quick takeoff. So I'm going to first start with the quick takeoff to show you how it works. It's a little different in a 3D model. So first of all, I don't want to have to pick each one of these. So I'm going to right click and say select all of this member type. So it finds all of those member types in my project. And now if I say start, create a takeoff, it pulls the type name in automatically. Now I could add more information here if I want as well. It automatically assigns it as a BIM object, and then it assigns a color like we had before. So if I wanted to change this color to something that stands out a little bit more, and then again down on my details, what do I want? I'm just going to use a count, and maybe we'll set this as beam here so we can keep track of the differences between our beams and our columns for our structural framing. And then we've got our classifications. Now again, mine are pretty simple here, but if you wanted to, you could make this more robust. Let's say structural framing. So I can close that out, start my takeoff, and you'll see it automatically found 20 of those. If I'm good with that, I can hit that checkbox, and I can see all of those in orange. Now note, this is still blue, so if I pick anything else, it's going to add to that classification. You want to click on it again to end that takeoff. If I click on it again, it activates it, and you can see I have a subset there now for my beams. For these up here, if they're not classified, much like with our 2D, we just come in and tell it how we want that to be classified. And so these are footings, so maybe I want to come in here to concrete. If I want to go a step further, I can, do that as well. So I'm going to leave this one. This is concrete for now, and we'll just say save. And so now it's classified. I didn't do a name to that, to our output details on that one, so it's not, doesn't have a subset like this one. So if I take a look at, I think it was this one I put in. Yeah, it's just classified. There it is. So there's not even listed as concrete, but I could add that in there at any time. All right, let's do another one real quick. Let's make sure we don't have anything selected, because if it's blue, it'll add it to that one. So let's select one of these guys here. My selection is on. And then again, we can right click, select all, start my takeoff, fill in the properties that I want. I'll go ahead and just accept the details here. The defaults here for this one. And here it is unassigned, okay? Now, if we wanted to create one from scratch and use some of the properties that we have here, we can do that. Oops. Cancel. Had that one already going. So let's say we want to create a new one. All right. I still have those selected. Let me unselect those. There we go. All right. So we want to do a new name. And so maybe we want to do something like a footing, and we want to get it set up for our footing, or another theme or column. You can create that in here ahead of time, start your takeoff, and then pick them. So same principle, the same principle, you just set it up beforehand. And that's where, if you wanted to set them up beforehand, selecting the properties and looking at those properties might be valuable. Now, you can also import 3D takeoff, and you have similar filtering and sorting options here as well. All right, so let's take a look at, now that we've got, did I set these up? Let me make sure I've got these assigned. Okay, I selected them, but I didn't ever assign them, it looks like. So let's activate this one. And got a little bit ahead of myself, so let's select all and add those in. This is a few more things going on. Let's do another one real quick. Let me grab this one, and we'll select all of these. We'll start a new one, just this generic, and we'll also do a count here. Start our takeoff. Got those 4, okay. And I'll finish that. All right, so we've got a few things in here that I've taken care of. Got a few footings already done. This little cluster here allows us to cluster the elements by their classification instead of how they're organized in the model. So if I click on this, we can see that now the elements are clustered by their family type. So here we've got structural, we've got wall, we've got framing, and I can see which framing elements here have already been taken off, as well as which foundation elements. If I wanted to quickly add something else, I can come down, right click, select all, renew. I can see what elements are going to be added, and I can create a new, with that nice and dark, a new fill. Let's go ahead and we'll just do a count here. And so it found 11 of those. So you can either use the model to help you understand what's going on and to do your takeoff, or you can come into the clusters and do your takeoff here. And if you want to go back, you can go back and do see it in its model form. So here's the ones we just took off. Okay. And then again, we can go in and further embellish these unassigned ones that we just quickly took off. All right, so let's take a look at what happens with this information that we're pulling together. Down here on the far left is our inventory. And this is keeping track of all of the elements that we are taking off in this package. So in this case, I only have the structural model in this package, and here are how it's being grouped together. So by classification, these are all unassigned, but I can see here that they're in order by their classifications. If I want them to be organized by the takeoff type, I can reorganize those and see the takeoff types. If I had more than one document, I could organize it by document as well. I don't have any locations assigned in here, so we don't have anything set there. But let's take a look here at the takeoff type. So here are my 12 by 18. If I click on that, it will show me over here each one of those instances. So I've got 11 of them, and I can come through and I can take a look at where that instance is. If I want to verify something, I can go in and choose which ones I want to see. I can also come in here and rotate around. I want to see what's going on. If they were assigned to the wrong takeoff, you can reassign them from here. You can select them and reassign them. And then if for some reason you do need to delete them, you can delete them out. If you want to minimize this, we can click on this little guy here and minimize that. If you do want to see all of the information and it's congested down here, we do have an option here to open a new window to see that inventory. And in the condensed window as well as the expanded window, we can now export this information out to Excel. This can be done both in the 2D and the 3D takeoff packages. So if I come back to my architectural takeoff package and we come back to one of our 2D sheets, then we can see our takeoff for our 2D. And if I look at documents here, here's my A101 and here's my A102. So I have multiple documents in this package so I can see that information together. But it's all contained within the project. So depending on which package you're in, you still have access to all the latest information in that project from whichever discipline you're working with. All right, so that pretty much wraps up the demo side of it. So let me pop back over and see if we have any questions. And we'll address those if we do. Let's questions. So question was, does it work with Civil 3D? Yes, Civil 3D can connect with BIM, with Autodesk Docs and BIM 360 Docs. So as long as the Civil file is up in the cloud, all you need to do is create a PDF of that Civil file and you can do a takeoff. I only see one question in here at this point. So if you have any more, feel free to add them in. Or you can put them in the survey as well. All right. Well, if you don't have any additional questions, I will hand it back to Ashley to wrap up. As I said, if you do find that you have a few more questions, by all means, put them in your survey and we'll be happy to get back to you. Ashley, are you there? Oh, I do see one more question that just came in. Civil 3D, no. Civil 3D, you'll have to publish that as a PDF file at this point in time. Right now, only PDF, Revit, and IFC files are supported. It's not in Civil 3D, it's going to be just that published PDF, because the only thing that Takeoff supports right now is a PDF a Revit file, and an IFC file. So that civil file would need to be printed to a PDF, and that's exactly what I had with the AutoCAD files. They were printed as a PDF from the AutoCAD files. Okay, Ashley, I'll hand it back to you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm not sure what was going on before, but thanks for presenting for us today, Alice, and thank you for everyone for attending. If you do have questions that you think of later, you can simply reply to that confirmation or reminder email you receive from GoToWebinar, and we can get those to the right person to get your questions answered. Once again, a short survey will pop up as we close down, and we thank you for filling that out for us. Also, look out for an email tomorrow, which will contain a link for the recording of today's presentation. Thank you for attending, and have a great day, everyone.